I just got fired. Kind of happy about it. You said I have to leave the premises like immediately? Okay. So, guess I'll see you guys later. I'm fired. You guys take care. Good luck, okay? Kind of relief. You guys have a good one. Oh man, I feel good. I just got fired. And honestly, when they told me, I was like a little like, eh. But then after, I was like, fuck this. They're back there having their little chat together. The guy that let me go was trying to block me from saying goodbye to my coworkers right now. Like, he was like guarding them or something. And then that's when I was like, okay, bye. Goodbye, guys. I'll see you later. They let me go. They fired me. He looked all disappointed. But honestly, dude, I feel relieved. I feel very relieved. I mean, I'm gonna be fucked if I'm not gonna get unemployment, but fuck it, dude. As they were like having me sign my forms and shit and like terminating me. Wait, let me say goodbye to my friend Michael. Hi, Michael. I'm done. Yeah, so it is what it is. But I think the relief that I'm feeling is a good sign because I did not want to do my shift today anyways. Like, I had a bunch of number 1 lessons, and that's dealing with first timers, so fuck it, dude, I'm feeling good. I'm also shaking a little bit because I'm in shock, but whatever, dude, it is what it is. I'm gonna do me. Yeah, they were trying to be all nice about it and stuff, and professional, and they were like, you can keep the sweater and all the shirt and whatever, it's all yours. I'm just like, what the fuck do I need this shit for? But whatever, I'm free, dude. I'm free. And I think I'm just gonna start trying to do more of the things that I want to do and not worry about any other one else. That's one of my coworkers driving in the car, my ex-coworkers. He was pretty cool too. He would always like be like upfront and like just tell me how fucking draining the job was, and me and him were just both like fucking over the job. He's been working here longer than I have, so I'm just glad. I'm glad they let me go. It wasn't, I didn't quit on myself, or I made a mistake, but fuck it, I'm done. It's all cool. Wish me luck, y'all. I'll be posting more content. I know what, but I'm free.
So, as you very well know, life provides you with varieties of choices, and if you've decided to make such choice, you've made this kind of choice, which is enshrined in your freedom of speech. You make the choice of make all sort of noises, jubilating and celebrating over the death of somebody, a human being, without even considering that this person has a family and they lived for someone. You didn't make such consideration. Then I don't know what to say for you. So you just have to bear the consequences of your choices, and life will make different choices. Some are good, some are bad. So I think that's part of it. You just make your choices and bear the consequences. So sometimes you have to think very wisely before you make the choice. But if the first reaction from you as a human being is celebration when someone dies, even if it's your enemy, no matter who the person is, and your first reaction is celebration, then people should rethink your humanity, because I doubt where it is, right? I don't think everybody should be responsible for your actions. You have your right, you're free to make your speeches, that's your freedom of speech. But your freedom of speech, it does not affect somebody else. You don't use your freedom to trample on another person's freedom, right? So I think it's part of it. So let's see the other videos.
I made some stupid comments about Charlie Kirk on the day that he was shot. I said some things on Blue Sky and on Threads that I'm sorry, not sorry for, but I said them and I deleted them when it was requested that I do so by my employer. And then today on a weekend, I'm told that I am no longer employed at Microsoft. After 6 years, building the diversity, equity, and inclusion department from scratch, I lose my job because one of you, some random person, reports my posts to my employer, goes out of their way to find out where I work and takes my job, takes my security away from me for a thought, for an opinion, and you talk about freedom of speech like you care about it, and you're just going to take my money, my life, my food off my plate because I don't like Charlie Kirk? That's not okay. It is not okay to target me because I felt joy that day. I can't help how I feel. I felt joy. That's me. That's what I believe. That's what I think of him. I can't help that. So I don't deserve a job?
So y'all got me fired for my job, but at least I got streaming. But I know for a fact none of y'all would even pull up to my stream and say that to my face. Fuck it, I'm gonna go live later, man. Streaming. Y'all can't take me on my streaming platform though.
If you say anything about Charlie Kirk online that your employer does not like and they fire you, there may not be much you can do about that. My name is Paige Sparks. I'm an employment lawyer, and this makes my eye twitch, misstated all over the internet. You don't have an absolute freedom of speech against everyone for everything. Your constitutional rights, like the Bill of Rights, which includes the First Amendment freedom of speech, primarily protects you from the government, not against individual people or private entities. The U.S. Constitution limits the government's power. It is not meant to regulate private behavior in between people or in between businesses that have nothing to do with the government. I'll give you an example. If you make a public post online saying, fuck the government, a cop cannot show up at your door and arrest you for saying that. That is a violation of your First Amendment freedom of speech. As an employer, I'm a private entity. I have nothing to do with the government. So if my wonderful law clerk says, fuck Paige Sparks online on a public post, I could fire her for that and there's nothing she could do. There are, of course, some exceptions, like if a private entity is acting on behalf of the government, or if you are a municipal employee and technically you have a government entity employer. But in general, you only have the freedom of speech protected against the government, not other people. I have actually sued the government before for violations of freedom of speech. Speech does not have to be just spoken to be protected. Actions can be considered speech too, like burning the flag, or if you flash your lights to warn other people of a cop sitting on the side of the road, that is also protected speech. Comment to let me know what other questions you have about the law. If you see people saying this incorrectly online, now you know.
I'm a journalist, and I feel like I am being gaslighted by our media institutions into believing that this current moment is normal. Since when did quoting a person or accurately describing their actions become grounds for termination? Today, Karen Attiya from the Washington Post announced that she was fired. She was the only black full-time columnist in its opinion section. She basically said that the Washington Post told her that her Blue Sky posts were unacceptable, were gross misconduct, and endangered the safety of her colleagues. She also said she was fired without them even having a conversation with her. By now you're probably wondering what it was that she said. You can see the entirety on her Substack, but she basically condemned the acceptance of political violence while criticizing the generic responses we always get, you know, the thoughts and prayers. And she highlighted that all this does is absolve white gunmen while not actually fixing the problem that continues to plague this country. She also posted the Charlie Kirk quote where he basically said that black women don't have brain processing powers. Good times. And make no mistake, this is likely what angered her bosses. She is not the first journalist to get in trouble for using honest language. MSNBC fired its senior political analyst who said Kirk's own radical rhetoric may have contributed to his killing. A Florida reporter was suspended for asking Representative Randy Fine if he still supports carrying guns on campuses. We've seen the way media organizations have completely capitulated to racists and the radical right for months. And this is a reminder of what I have said many a times on this app. It is clear that those mea culpas we heard during the George Floyd protests were just words, because many of the organizations that we rely on to hold the powerful accountable are just kind of blowing in the wind. They're like these things. Anyway, if you support Karen, follow her Substack and reconsider what media outlets you're subscribing to. I'm not saying don't pay for news. You absolutely should pay for news and continue to support journalists, but consider paying a subscription fee to organizations that continue to be fearless in this moment rather than shrinking.
So irrespective of how emotional she tried to paint all of this, one, she forget that freedom of speech is not absolute. Secondly, is that these media organizations are owned and run by private sectors, not government organizations, all right? So you don't bring in your freedom of speech absolutism into the private sector, all right? Everybody runs their business how they want to run it, all right? And businesses are run by principles and integrity. So everybody wants the organization to look, to have a good look in the public eye, right? So employing someone who would probably give your business a bad name is not what any private sector a business person intends for their business, right? Nobody wants to run their business that way. So don't forget that fact. So if someone employs you and you go against their work ethics or how they wish to present their brand in the public eye, and you go against that, you're going to be fired. And it has nothing to do with your freedom of speech or whatever. No, you take that to the government, all right? It doesn't have anything to do with the private sector. The media organization, they have rights to hire and fire. Okay, that's that. Now you have to understand that for someone who works in an organization, be it private or particularly private sector, right? You have to curtail your behavior, because how you portray yourself shows either a good or bad image to the organization where you work, right? So you don't expect that organization to take in all of your excesses, and if it becomes a bad image for them, they lose. And no organization wants to make a loss because of whatever you've done with your private life, right? So if your private life is going to contribute to the downfall of the business, nobody wants that. No organization will want to, take in those baggages. So that's that. You have to understand to bear the consequences of your action. So if you've subjected yourself to work with a firm, you subject yourself to an authority, you report to someone, it should equally work on your individual person, your character, and how you portray yourself out there, because how you portray yourself eventually runs back to who you work with. And that's it, guys. Nobody wants to take in your personal problem. You don't want your issues to affect my company, and I equally don't want that too. So guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Please, if you've not subscribed, do well to subscribe, like the video, share, and credit to all the creators whose video are on this content. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you, guys.